Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to FF episode 2254, 2254, Mike's Daily Podcast, the show where
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I do a podcast daily. Actually, I have. The past couple days, I've been doing a podcast. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Did you tell all your friends how I do this show every day? And you know there is also someone here that would like to say, yo. Oh, they're not going to talk. Okay. Maybe later.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
We may be hearing from Shelley Shuhart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer
Mike's
in a little bit.
Daily
Because that's what we do here
Podcast.
on Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yeah!
And we talk about microbiomes. Yes, Mike has a biome, as you do. And we've been hearing a lot of this word biome. It's bizarre to say that word. But yes, it exists. And apparently you have a skin biome. There was some guy that we heard all about with all this people not taking as many showers because they're working from home stuff. And so this one guy was like, oh yeah, it's okay not to take so many showers because you're washing off all these incredible, helpful bacterial biomes on your skin that naturally fight off and kill all kinds of deadly things that get on your skin every day. Thank you. And it was a young guy, really young. So I don't know how he found out all about this in his short young life, but apparently he just doesn't want to use soap. It's all, and that's how you launch a conspiracy. It's all the big soap companies. It's big soap. Not big tech, not big pharma, but big soap. Big suds is after you to stop you from your skin being healthy. So I'm sure this kid stinks. And he goes around on these radio talk shows, which that works perfectly because in today's climate...
And here's today's podcast picture.
You don't have anybody in the same studio anymore because the coronavirus stopped that, put the kibosh on that. People don't sit in the same studio like they used to and do shows. In fact, a lot of it is all, I'll be here broadcasting from my place and you can broadcast from yours, and there's all this technology and really super sophisticated, inexpensive microphones you can get now. And we're here at Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley today. And the podcast picture is of myself at Half Moon Bay at Poplar Beach, the wonderful beach this fine, wonderful dog used to go with me to all the time. It was our regular place. I would let him loose off his leash, and he would run and run and run and chase after the seagulls. And he's been gone now for almost a year. And we finally went back to the place where he used to run free and chase the waves, chase the birds, and have a wonderful time. And he I had been back last December on a horse. My lovely lady friend and I rode horses in Half Moon Bay. And that's a lot of fun. It is a lot of work, though. You really engage your core, as the guy over there at that health place tells you to do, at the place where you have to work out and sweat. But you still got to wear a mask. Unless you've been vaccinated. Then you don't have to wear a mask, apparently. Or maybe it's the yoga instructor that tells you to engage your core. Which, by the way, I had to tell my local yoga people, which I'm so glad they survived through the pandemic, but I just don't want to get their emails anymore. So I unsubscribe, right? And then they ask me all these questions. Okay, maybe it was 2 questions. But it was just like, why are you unsubscribing? And they give you like 5 choices. And none of them really fit why. I just felt like unsubscribing. And then I also felt like not answering their questions. Well, they wouldn't let me unsubscribe unless I answered their questions. So then I wrote other, right? And then you have to comment. They don't let you unsubscribe unless you then comment if you click on other. So under that, in the comment section, I said, when you unsubscribe, when you tell and if you're a company and you send out emails to people, mass emails, you got to give them the opportunity to unsubscribe. I said to them, you should just let me unsubscribe without no questions asked, without any questions involved in this transaction. I should be allowed to just unsubscribe. By having me answer all these questions, you are in fact breaking the law. And I wrote that all in upper caps, and I hope I got my point across to the poor yoga people that were just trying to relax and do a downward dog and not have to be messed with Mike Matthews today or his microbiome. But yes, that's me out there on the beach, and you can see the picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. What a sunset. Half Moon Bay last Wednesday. By the way, there's a podcast picture that I will be posting on the sad anniversary of the passing of Basil the Boxer. And I'm going to post this picture, and it's going to cause all kinds of waves. It's going to cause all kinds of people who have not listened to this podcast, but maybe they see me post the podcast, because I have not said on social media that my dog passed away, because when people do that, to me, it looks like a popularity contest. And it looks like, oh, how much sympathy can I get? And so I have said, of course, on this podcast many a time that Basil passed away. And there are people that are going to see the picture, and it's going to be me. It's going to be a very touching. Even talking about it, I want to tear up. But it's a picture that my lovely lady friend took of me last week, doing something in honor of Basil. And when I post that picture, people are going to know. And I'm not even going to put any words on it, not going to caption it, nothing. I'm just going to post it, and people are going to figure it out then. Because I still get people saying to me, "How's Basil doing?" Hello. They're not really friends. I think my whole point is you got to be careful of who you call your friends in this world. As we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. You know, you've heard this over and over again, even back when there was MySpace. Oh, I've got 1,000 friends. Yeah, but are they really friends? Do they really, all they care about, they look at your picture for half a second, whatever your picture was you posted on Instagram or Facebook, and they're not really your friends. And that's just the whole thing I find interesting in today's world. Some people take it to such an extreme, they're not even on social media because they don't want any fake friends like that. Hey, last podcast we talked about fake meat, and today it's fake friends. Watch out for that. So there's this microbiome. It is basically a thing happening, bacteria and fungi in your microbiome. They interact with each other. If you take a broad spectrum antibiotic for an infection, it can kill the bacteria in your gut. Without good bacteria to keep Candida albicans yeast in check, and it can become invasive and cause all kinds of infections with the mouth and other places. The study of the fungi inside us is in its early days. It has been called microbiome. New technology is aiding research in this area. Now, here's how to test your microbiome. Some companies sell microbiome test kits directly to consumers. These mainly test for gut bacteria in your, that gift you leave every day, every morning, maybe after your morning coffee. Let's see. There's Aubrey Phelps. She's the director of wellness at BIOHM Health, or Biome, I guess is how you would say that. Said some common fungi in the gift that you drop off. There's tests for that. And there's all kinds of things you can look out for. Something called Pichia. It's a yeast that may actually be good for you. And there's something called Aspergillus. It's a harmful mold that contaminates some food, such as corn. And also it contaminates damp buildings. Like this. Actually, this building is nowhere near damp because we had a heck of a lot of heat last week. So all that's gone. And let's see. Oh, initially you get your microbiome such as candida from your mom. Really? Later you pick up fungi from your diet, the environment, and other people, such as kissing. However, most fungi are just passing through and aren't really colonizing your gut. For example, the DNA of mushrooms may be found in your morning gift, but that doesn't mean the fungi are living in your gut. Most edible mushrooms don't grow at human body temperatures. They generally prefer room temperature. Penicillium mold used to make blue cheese doesn't grow at human body temperatures either. Here are do's and don'ts to keep your microbiome healthy. Eat mostly whole plant-based foods. Don't eat highly processed and sugary foods. Do limit your alcohol intake. Don't drink alcohol routinely. Do exercise regularly. Don't over-exercise without time for recovery. Do manage stress, such as with meditation. And don't smoke. And don't take unnecessary antibiotics, because that can kill that. All right, finally done with that. I know I may have covered some of that in a previous podcast way back when. Hey, here's an interesting thing that I found from the Costco connection. And I'm going to give them a slug now after I've given them a plug. I went last week and, I used... They gave me a gift certificate. I forget why. Oh, probably because I'm a Costco executive. And I think I made back a tiny bit. Actually, I think I probably should drop that whole Costco executive thing, because the whole impetus for it was to have it, and then you buy a lot of stuff at Costco, and it basically pays for itself. You get money back for having it. But I think I just barely covered the cost, so I don't even know if it was worth it. So that was my slug. That, and I should have used my Costco card, because you get extra points when you use your Costco credit card. And I didn't use that, because these days there's another credit card company that's trying to get you to use them when you go to those big box, what do you call Costco? It's the wholesale type place. Big box. Is it big box wholesale type stores? Is that what they call them? I guess they call them Costco type stores. And I forgot to use, and I used the wrong credit card, so I got like nothing back as far as rewards. And you always blow a lot of money at Costco. And anywho, this from the Costco connection. Amy Shiratai is a space historian, and I guess she shops at Costco. She's an author and an outspoken advocate for women's participation in the space program. Despite making up 50% of the U.S. college-educated workforce, and we have out here a workhorse. Say hi. What is an odd-sounding horse? Only a small percentage of women obtain careers in science and engineering. Amy also, her passion began while researching a second-grade project on Venus. Her fascination persisted through graduation and through graduate school, rather, and she now loves sharing her research with the public to inform and inspire. So, if you're a woman, consider becoming an astronaut, I guess. That's what I wanted to say there. All right, and finally, as time is ticking, I need to wrap up the podcast. This about how you sign your emails. The sign off should be how you conclude your email. Typically, people say all the best or thanks when ending an email, but there are a whole wealth of ways to sign off, and not all of them make sense for every type of email you send. For example, you might say thanks if you're asking for something, but you wouldn't necessarily say thanks if you're introducing yourself. This from theladders.com. That's supposed to help you get a job, and I've used them to try and get a job, never did. You should sign up your email with your full name the first time around. If you're in constant contact with this person or they already know who you are, you don't need to use your full name every single time, which I'm guilty of doing that because I have my full name included in the signature that I have that's popping up at your full name might be found below in your signature if you have one. Just to make sure, and you can go into settings and whatever email you use to make sure your signature does or does not show up. Just make sure to use the name that you want the other person to use when addressing you, and if you have a nickname, don't go back and forth. This can get confusing for people. Always include your title and the name of your company when you sign off your emails, just under or next to your name. This way the person on the receiving end of your email has some more context. Knowing a bit more about who you are can help them craft a response back to you. Again, like your name, you don't need to do this every single time you sign off an email. And also, like your name, this information will likely be in your automatic signature. Your contact information may feel redundant, but it's important to share, include the email you prefer to use, even if it's the one from which you're sending the email. Include that email address. In most cases, you should include your email and phone number. In some cases, however, you may need to include your company's address or social media handles. If you'd like, many people have started adding their pronouns to their email sign-offs. This all has to do with, of course, gender identity, because many people have gender-neutral names. This can be a huge help for anyone if you are cisgender, for example. More importantly, because gender is an expression, not everyone who has a traditionally male or female name identifies with the corresponding he, him, his, or she, her, hers gender pronouns. Some people even use gender-neutral pronouns, so this is an easy way of sharing those to set the precedent. I have not seen that yet, but that's because I am in the very sheltered world of radio. Okay, and then if you're feeling grateful, if you're genuinely thanking the recipient for something, even their time, there are many ways to say thank you, but not saying thank you because everybody says it. You could say much appreciated or something with the word appreciate in there. You could say gratitude. Also, it's good to be friendly with your sign-offs. That goes a long, long way. There's sincerely, but there's also like have a great day. Have a great weekend. I see that a lot. Oh, here's one. Here's to a great, and then you say whatever the day is. Today is Monday. No, wait. Tuesday. Gosh. And I've been able to do 2 podcasts in a row. So this show is actually daily again. Yay! Slow hand clap. That was sped up slightly. Wow. They say maybe you should use the I owe you one? No. You're a lifesaver? Then there's all the casual ones like cheers, chat soon, peace later, see ya. You rock, you're the best, ciao, adios. Hope you're making it through your Tuesday or whatever day. If you want to be formal, there's regards, best regards, warm regards, cordially. I'm a cordial type of guy. Maybe that would be good for me to use. Cordially. Respectfully. Warm wishes. And then to wish them the best. Best wishes. That's a common one. Some people use sending light, sending good vibes, sending positive vibes. Keep up the good work. That sometimes is a little forced. Keep up the good work, buddy. Oh, yeah, that'd be a good one. Buddy. Thanks, buddy. And then there's ones like good luck, keep it up, you've got this, you're going to kill it. Wow. I feel bad for whatever the it is. Things to avoid in your email sign-off. Quotes. While quotes can be a nice sentiment, they're unnecessary words, and emails are typically already wordy enough. Cut the quotes and leave your email be. You don't want the recipient of your email to be so overwhelmed by all the text that they don't even read what's most important in the body of your email. Plus, excessive links. I'm guilty of that because I now work for 5 radio stations. I include the links to all the stations, but that could confuse the reader. There should just be like a relevant link, like the link to your company site or your portfolio page. Big corporate logos. Logos are a great way to leave a lasting imprint on your reader, but big corporate logos can leave the wrong kind of impression. The logo should be small if you're going to include one at all. You don't want the logo to distort the text alignment in your email, for example. That's a problem. Massive headshots. That's a bad one. And very common in California because everybody wants to be in showbiz. While headshots may be necessary in some industries, you definitely don't need one in your typical email sign-off. Besides, most emailing platforms allow you a photo, so you don't need to add your picture to your emails as well. And that's also good to remember any other photos. Photos in general can relatively be a negative effect on an email. They could take a long time to load. That's a problem. People are like, what is going on? Or they might get blocked because now there's all these spam blockers and cyber security type blocks going on in emails. It may not properly appear on your recipient's end. So if you have to include photos in your email, you should include them as attachments. Hey, we're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Let's say hi to some people.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's going too hard to get Jeff Supervisor. Well, this podcast was full of all kinds of information.
Yes, all kinds of information. Don't put photos in your emails. But, I'm going to put my podcast picture on every podcast because that's what I've been doing since the beginning of this whole thing. So you can see the podcast picture at mikesdailypodcast.com and chime in and tell me what you think about any of the topics we covered at 336MM Daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM is Mike Matthews. Daily isn't what this podcast has been now for a couple of days. Look who else is here.
Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman.
And this is John Deere, the engineer. Next time you go to Half Moon Bay, please take us with you, will you? Please?
No.
Wow, that was rude. Yes. And I love it when people just say rude because that's all you have to say. It's a whole sentence and it's a complete thought. Thank you for listening. I hope I've been cordial enough with you. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the disgruntled fiddle player, and the broom master. Lots of B sounds in the next show. Bye-bye.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!